Hi, Venita.
Hi everyone, it's Venita. I am an ex-BBN Pepperdam housemate and you are live on Boombox. Stay tuned.
Okay, now that BBN is over, how does it feel reintroducing yourself into the public space after a long time?
Oh, I don't know how to articulate it, to be very honest, and I talk a lot. It is very surprising. It is very positive. It's very uplifting. It's humbling. I have a big feeling of gratitude in my heart, genuinely. So I just thank God for the experience.
So before Baby Naija, what was the longest you had to stay away from your daughters? Because there was a time, I think you said at an interview that you used to cry when you think about them while you were in the house. So what was the longest time you spent away from them?
The longest time I spent from them is probably about 5.5 up to 6 weeks, but it's different because you can call them and you can see them, you can FaceTime them, and you can get on the plane, etc. So I was exploring 1 or 2 opportunities that I was looking at for personal ventures. So I took a trip to China and took trips to Turkey, so I had to spend time away from them. But this time it was very different. Like I couldn't see them. I feel like I was missing on so much, and as a mother, naturally you feel guilty. But I don't think they missed me much. But I was very happy to see them. Very.
What is it like now that you're out of the house? What was the reaction from people? What's the reception towards you like?
It's very, very, it's humbling. I've walked into a building, like for example, head office, multi-choice, and it was nice. Like a lot of women are very happy to see me. They looked happier than when I walked into the BB house. The positivity has been, it's humbling. It's just very humbling. Very, very humbling.
When you got out of the house, what was your reaction when you heard what some of the housemates were saying about you?
I'm human, and it would be a lie if I sit here and tell you that I didn't feel anything. I definitely did. Some things made me feel more bad than others, but I understand because I have been in the house. I understand the pressure, and I understand everyone has maybe possibly a strategy. Some don't. So I'm hoping we can all understand ourselves better when we come out. For some few people. For some others, honestly, I genuinely don't care, sadly, but that's the situation.
Okay, but what was your strategy? Did you go in with a strategy? Because I won't lie, I heard that you were saying, you were given a brief to go scatter
Really?
Gedoni and Kafi.
Wow, a specific brief just for them.
So I don't know, was that true?
I mean, we entered the house and there were 21 housemates. I don't really see Biggie giving anyone any brief specifically targeting 2 individuals. But no, there was no time. I didn't know I was successful in my audition at all. The show had been on for about a month. So I was moving on with my life. Which you can see, I joined Flatmates, so that was something that happened a few days, a short time before I went in. So I really didn't know. So there was no time to plan, and I wasn't watching the show because I was being a spoiled brat, and I was upset about not being selected.
Selected by who?
Just to go in the house. I felt like my audition was unsuccessful. I mean, 4 weeks into the show, there's no college, of course you're not going anywhere. I had no idea that everything was about to be turning on your own. So there was no time to plan, but I had personal goals that I wanted to achieve for myself. So I focused on that most of the time, yeah.
Okay, so what were these goals and how far have you been able to, achieve them?
I felt like before I went in the house, I didn't really have the best self-confidence. I know it's very hard, for people to understand that, and my self-esteem should have been better. Just generally getting into the gym mentally, mental health is very, very important. It doesn't matter how much you have, who you think you look like, or none of those things. If you're not healthy mentally and emotionally, that can affect so many things. So I thought now is the best time to start to put back some bricks into the foundation of who I'm supposed to be.
You were one of the housemates who, was able to keep some stuff about your personal life away. How are you able to do that? You did it successfully.
You know what, I'll be honest, you don't see everything. So there were times that I may have discussed one or two things with other housemates, but they have to pack everything into like an hour. I'm not sure how long the show was, just a short segment. But it's an area that's very sensitive, and also, not everybody in my family is in the limelight. So definitely I had to protect them, but I also understood I needed to be a little bit honest about what was going on. So it happened, not often, very, very rarely, with like some specific people, but it wasn't something that I guess made the edit. And yeah, I'm okay with that.
Before you came this morning, we put up a questionnaire on our page and said people should ask you questions they wanted to ask.
Okay.
And so somebody from Ghana asked what the triangle was like between you, Frood, and Gedoni.
Between me, Frood, and Gedoni? That's an interesting triangle. That triangle did not happen. Me, Frood, and Gedoni, no, not quite. I think they need to rearrange the supposed triangle. No, a lot of it was, there was a lot of misinterpretation. But it's fine, that's life, sometimes that happens.
Okay. Were you interested in any of the guys in the house?
Not at all in an amorous way, trust me. With what I was dealing with, which nobody can say is fake, I didn't have any interest in that department in the house. No.
Oh, but you were kind of close to Frood in your first week.
Yes.
But then you moved to Esther.
No, I don't know what the dynamics were before the house between him and Esther. Frood went out of his way to make me feel comfortable, and for that reason, I was fond of him, but I didn't have any amorous feelings towards him at all.
Was there a time you felt that Mercy was a threat to you?
No, I didn't really see anybody as a threat, and I really am not trying to sound conceited. Just we're all in very different lanes and different stages in our lives. So Biggie adds, he wants a mix, he wants variety. So I knew there was no other me in the house, and I'm not so sure a lot of people wanted to expose their vulnerability the way I was ready to, so what I was bringing to the table was very different. And in life, because I am, among the upper end in age of the housemates, I had a lot more experience in different areas of life. So no, I didn't feel like she was a threat at all. She's fun and she's lovable, and that was my perception of her.
So, but if you could change anything about your stay in the house, what would it be?
The fact that we have to hand wash clothes, I felt that.
Because you what?
The fact that we had to hand wash clothes, like it's 2019, we should have had a washing machine. But I wouldn't change anything else. I feel like if I knew more, I would have conditioned myself to behave in a certain way. So I literally was in the raw form of who I am. And I think that was the best way for me to handle my own journey.
That reminds me, when you just spoke about hand washing clothes, there was a video that went viral about Frood washing Esther's undies. So, did you see that though?
I know they when they wash clothes too. I beg. When I go, my pile is like this big, and I'll be there a long time. I need both things. I was not there. I don't know anything about it. I think I heard a couple jokes in the house, but he washes. Traditionally here we really like stigmatize some things. If he washed her pants, okay, a hair and so. If he cares that much for her, and they're sharing, that kind of thing, I don't really see what the big deal is. Women not washing their guys' boxers. So what was the big deal? But I don't know if it happened or not. I just don't really see it. Maybe it's the jams in my brain. I don't really see it as a big deal.
So after Big Brother, what's next for Venita?
Oh my goodness. What's not next? You know, when I was in the Big Brother house, I got to do a lot of things I haven't done in a long time, and I became stronger in all of them. So I have projects that are focused on natural hair, pending. I'm gonna go into vlogging because apparently people like to see all the atarado things that I do. I'm a foodie regardless of whoever thinks whatever. And I'm also into art a lot, and I think people got to see that side. Generally just creative industries, you know, so I'm gonna try and doubt myself less and take more steps going forward. And obviously, normal level at the acts, I do manage some kind of small acting, so I'll be in a lot more projects in the future, definitely.
All right, nice. So who are your top 5 winners?
Top 5, okay. Omoshala, for his own personal hurdles that he constantly jumps over to stay in the game. Frood, because he definitely brings a lot to the table. Cindy, because she's the underdog, my G, and serial Ludo killer. Mike, because he is very consistent, and reliability and dependability is something that is very nice to have. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you know what? Mercy, she brings her own, you know, spice to it. So I would like to see all of them get as far as they can.
I was thinking you mentioned Tacha.
I have no interaction with Tacha. I didn't really.
Did you guys ever talk in the house?
No, in group work, yes, and there was no issue, but there was not. If it wasn't concerning group work, we hardly ever really exchanged any talk. So I've explained the reasons why I've mentioned this top 5. I think I would have to know her a lot better before I can say anything else, yeah.
But a lot of people feel though, because she's still in the house, they feel that Tacha is rude, she's uncouth. What do you think about her personality?
I think she is misunderstood. The reason I say this is, like mentioned before, when I had my first, you know, boo-hoo section, she was actually the person that knocked on the door and was like, "Are you okay?" You know, gave me a hug and everything. So she's not all things like horrible and nasty, you know. I just think you need to have a lot of patience to have a thorough understanding of her. But like a lot of people, she will not. You can't just walk through her front door. So that is my perception. I was once also 23, you know. So that is just my perception. But I don't know for a fact. I don't know.
Hey, so before Chima kills me, we'll just go through this. It's a game of firsts.
Okay.
So I'll ask you your first this and then you answer.
How will I remember? I'm so old. No, okay.
Okay, what was your first job?
My first job, okay, I worked in Primark. Retail sales assistant.
Your first email address?
Oh my goodness. Sexy Cinderella. I can't say the rest because it's still active and I don't want to be bombarded.
First time you were on TV?
That's a good question. I don't know. I must have been about maybe 19, maybe. I think so, possibly, I'm not sure.
First music video you appeared in?
A song called Not a Hater by Mr. Wong. It was a UK grime artist, actually.
Your first celebrity crush?
I don't remember. Michael Jackson. I think I was a child. Yeah, I thought I was going to get married to Michael Jackson at some point. Yeah.
First kiss?
I must have been in secondary school. Yes, I was in secondary school.
How old were you when you made your first million?
Naira, not if we change.
Dollars. It can be dollars.
Amen. We claim the millions of dollars. When I made my first million, okay, probably when I moved back here, I made my first million. Yeah, within the first year. Yeah.
Your first modeling contract?
Ever? I don't remember. I don't remember. It may have been something for Black Hair magazine. I really don't remember. It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah.
First boyfriend, how old?
Define. I mean, I don't know. When you're 14 and you're crushing on someone, you think the person is your boyfriend. First serious boyfriend. I was probably about, I would say, 19, 20, about that age. Yeah, or 21. I don't know. I took my time. Maybe 20, 21, about that.
First thing you do when you get home?
Take off my shoes. Get in bed. Get in bed and Netflix.
Okay. First thing you do when you wake up, right?
Check my phone. Very bad habit.
Not even, you don't even check if you can walk.
No, I just. Who is insulting me today on my phone? No, I check my phone first, yeah.
Which is easier, changing a diaper or putting a baby to sleep?
Definitely changing a diaper is easier. If you have the daughters I have, putting them to sleep is not. It's not a beans.
What would you want Nigerians to remember you for? When they say Venita, what do you want? What brand do you think you're building?
I would want Nigerians to remember me for doing my best to be open and transparent in a society where we don't welcome it from women. I would like them also to remember me for standing for mommies, especially single mommies, and just being relatable, I suppose, and being the modern African woman, not the old school or the traditional or all the old things that you respect. Being the modern African woman, that's who I would love to be recognized as. Oh, I love it. You know, Biggie took my varsity jacket back. You don't need. Hey.